Hello everyone and welcome. My name's Greg. Today I'll be bringing the Tier 7 Broceliande biters out with Vercingetorix on Hadrian's Wall. Giving you a little bit of a symptomatic intro here before we begin. This commentary on the battle has already taken place, so I'm just going to give you my thoughts and opinions on the actions I took during the battle and give you a bit of an insight into what I was thinking as we went. It was a pretty exciting battle, very close at the very end, and hopefully it makes for good viewing. So this intro is about to finish, and we'll jump into the location selection for the battle. So we are Hadrian's Wall, and I always select to go pretty much on the same side of the map, on the A side. It does offer quite a lot of good cover for the dogs to go through at the start. So let's jump up here into the gap in the wall and see what we're going to be up against. What I normally do is unleash one unit into those trees just in case something is rushing up through there. Just checking who we're up against today, what the composition of the enemy team is, the commanders and units, and see what I'll potentially be against. So we do have some cavalry making their way towards my location. Going to unleash into them and try and slow them down. They did put on a charge, but it was a bit too late. I already had the dogs in there, so that was a bit of a failure there. Pulling the units back just in case I got charged there by the other cavalry unit. I do have some heavy infantry coming in also, but I should be able to manage that if I can get rid of these horses pretty quickly. The dogs will make very light work of them. I'll just pop Defiance, so they're not going to be able to war cry me or make me rout, but it looks like we're getting rid of one of those units already. Send one of my dog units over to deal with the other cavalry unit, and then I'll just try and flank this heavy infantry and get rid of them and take control of this area. Looks like the second cavalry unit has routed, which is awesome. Don't need to worry about him anymore. The dogs will finish him off, and I'll bring my third unit up to make light work of this infantry unit who has routed. So that is a very good start for this area. Being able to clear the enemy out of here, and what I'll do is start making a bit of a headway into the tree line there to see what else we have. We have some tier 7, what's that, tier 8 archers. We have some glaives and some infantry. Don't know which sword unit that is, but it's up on this side of the map. The enemy have brought some tier 7 swords and some tier 6 crossbows. So we'd be looking to try and get rid of them as quickly as possible, and just going to try and unleash one of my dog units into there just to give them a bit of a scare, but I decided against that just because the infantry were going to go in there. So the infantry would have latched on to, the dogs would have latched on to the infantry instead, sending one lot of the dogs into the tree line just in case that cavalry player comes back around again. Just trying to let the archer know that the cavalry is coming in. So he's only got about 5 seconds before he's going to be on them. And I'm going to unleash into that gap. So hopefully what this will happen is the dogs will intercept before the cavalry gets in. Unfortunately, he was able to charge into the dogs, but that took out one of the units from the charge. So that definitely took a lot of the impact from the charge, and that cavalry player wasn't able to get a good charge in there. He does have his third unit coming up. So I'm really hoping I can deal with the first cavalry unit now, try and get at least one or two of my dog handlers out of the action there, and see if I can avoid a charge, because that would be quite damaging. The glaive player has come in to help out the archer, which is awesome. Means that I've got a tiny bit more time to deal with the cavalry and then head in there. So he did get a nice charge off on one of the archer units there, but he really has only done about half of the damage he needed to, and we'll probably catch him inside here when he goes for the other archer. We'll kill off his other cavalry unit now, and then just blob our way in towards him. We'll cop a bit of friendly fire, but that's fine. We just want to get rid of him as quickly as possible so we can try and recompose ourselves. Unfortunately, I haven't lost a lot of my dogs at this point, so I'm just running with the handlers. One unit is just under 50%, the other two nearly have no dogs left. So what I need to do now is to go in here and help out the sword unit, just indicating what I am going to be doing, which is wrapping around, trying to get the rear and side flanks and deal with them. I was hoping the archer would have fired in there and tried to clear out that watchtower instead of the infantry unit here. We do need to be really careful because that cavalry player didn't kill enough to really gain a chevron, so he's going to be able to respawn very fast. And so far we've been able to eliminate so many players out here really quickly that we have all gained our first chevrons, or the archer player and myself have gained our first chevrons, so we're actually at a bit of an advantage here against certainly the cavalry player and that crossbow. Just unleashing some of my dogs into that area now to try and push the crossbows as far back as possible. Hopefully they'll be able to latch on, and then we'll be able to really deter them from pushing forward. I'm expecting to see that cavalry any second now. Here he is, and he's back to try and get me. I'm getting a side flank on him there because he kind of failed his charge, but I don't have vision of where his other cavalry are, so it's a bit of a concern. And he does wrap around the back here and gets our archer, which is a bit of a poor play on our behalf, and he does have his third cavalry unit coming in here for a charge, but he won't be able to charge into too much just there, because his other cavalry unit is kind of congesting the area, so the charge would have hit a lot of his. I do need to really get rid of this first unit so I can free up my units to go over and help out the archer, but I can't go over there too early because I really need to deal with him first. So let's try and kill him off, and then I'll bring my other units out of the tree line. I do also need to be mindful that as soon as I leave the tree line, they're going to get good vision on me and can plan a good charge. So both those other cavalry units would be able to just turn around and charge into me right now, whereas right now they're just killing off the archer, which I can understand why they'd be doing that, but I don't want to kill my units too quickly here. Unfortunately, my friendly archer player has died. It'd be good if I could just unleash my dogs, but they all died earlier. Looks like we've made good work towards the middle. We did capture C, but it looks like it's flipping, and we've put some good pressure up onto D. So we are over 100 points ahead, which is very nice. I'm just trying to prevent this cavalry unit from getting away by slamming him on cycles. So slam with the first unit, slam with the second, and then slam with the third. But unfortunately, whilst this is taking place, they are doing a very nice push-up with their swordsmen and the crossbows. So they would be able to get a good volley in on me if they were to get close enough, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about that. So I'm just going to try and send my units back. Unfortunately, the dog units are one of the slowest units in the game. Certainly not as slow as some of the heavy infantry, but most units would be able to catch me here. So I probably need to spread out a bit and see if I can just let one of my units escape. The crossbow is letting me know he's there by volleying in, and I'm kind of panicking now because we do need to get some presence back onto A, because they have more forces than what we can handle right now coming through. So I'm just going to try and surround him, get rid of the cavalry, and then see if I can rush one of my units back to heal and just let the other two units die off here whilst I try and hold them up as long as possible. That glaive player is doing a very good job of holding that watchtower. Unfortunately, I just copped a pretty heavy infantry charge there from behind. But I did manage to sneak my one unit out, and I'm going to use my friendly player here as a bit of a shield so I can rush back there and heal at least one of my units up. Hopefully the crossbow doesn't see me whilst I'm healing, so I can use that time to replenish at least one of these units. I'm kind of hoping they kill off both of these up in the gap in the wall so that all three units respawn at the same time and heal up. But let's just see what happens here. So halfway through healing two of those units, hoping the last one just dies off before so I get all three, but unfortunately they've healed up and that last unit hasn't completely died. So I was going to leave one back in that healing zone and then send one up, just so that the first unit that's dying off will heal up whilst that unit's in there. But unfortunately the crossbow recognises what I'm trying to do there and begins firing into that healing zone. But I do need to actually leave there now to go and start defending A. So I unleash into A, and the dogs latch on without that charge getting me. So I was able to start killing him off quite effectively there. The archer has sent a couple of volleys in, and we do have cavalry and some javelins coming in. I'd really like those crossbows to be dealt with, and unfortunately that charge just then was able to rout me. I'm not too sure how that happened. There was no flanks applied, it was just a straight up charge into me, so I was a bit confused by that during the battle, but anyway, I'll just send him back to heal in a minute, and my other unit is dealing with that cavalry player. So what I need to do now is try and clear out A from any pressure, and I'll do that by just wrapping this unit around the back of the heavy infantry, get a rear flank on him, and he'll just collapse inside the A point, and we'll be able to kill him off quite quickly. Good news is my other two units are healing up now, so we're clearing A out. We've got cavalry, which is just come in to help. We have javelins and myself, who will all have nearly full units to start pressing up onto the D capture point. Good thing is the cavalry here is recognising the ranged player and trying to really press. I'm going to unleash all my dogs in here just so we can clear out all of the archers and crossbows, so we can start pushing up towards D. We should see the glaive player respawning soon, and hopefully he'll join me on this side of the map so we can press up towards D. The javelin player seems to be a tiny bit indecisive as to what he wants to do. He's trying to stay out of the range of the archers, but at the same time he's not really contributing enough here, so I'm just going to take the initiative and start pressing forward, and hopefully the javelin will follow me, and we'll see what happens next. We've got the other cavalry units coming around to help out, and my dogs are just chasing after the range units, which is exactly what I intended to originally. I can see they only have the one defending force on D, but they do have the respawned cavalry, which is going to continue to cause me a bit of grief. So I'm just going to hit the tree line and then work my way up, recalling the dogs in, and then I'll wait for my moment to unleash them again. Looks like we've lost C in the middle, but it is contested, and we're losing B, so it's not looking too good across the map for us right now. We are nearly 300 points negative, but hopefully we can swing that quite quickly. I get a nice surprise flank on him there. I'll get the other flank in a second, and the cavalry player is out of the equation. And we'll press up towards D now. So what I'm hoping to do is just wrap all the way around him. I didn't actually notice the stakes in there just yet. I noticed the ones at the front, there's ones at the side, but unfortunately my units seem to clip them a bit here, even though I did select to go around them. Unleash the dogs in there to hold him from the front, so he can't maneuver his units as well to try and prevent the flanking from taking place. And what I'm going to do is just send all my units here. I can see the archers are firing in, but if I can get this unit routed, then we'll capture this quite quickly. And I'm hoping that everyone around me will just rush into here at the same time and contribute to the capture of the point. Just got to get that last flank in so we can get him routed. And that seems to be taking effect now. Unfortunately, I'm losing a lot of units here just because the those ranged player up there just has no pressure on him whatsoever, but really panicking now to try and get someone else in here to help me capture the point. If nothing else, we just need to deny them from spawning into that location. Right now, if an infantry player came in, we would definitely lose the press here. They were able to charge in there, but I'm able to send my units around to get the flanks on and rout him in a second. He did cop a fear just then, but we do have quite a healthy cavalry unit on the side here who's able to charge in and really apply pressure on us to try and prevent us from capturing here. Note, they can still spawn and rush in there if they have a dead player. So we want to try and get this done as quickly as possible here. I'm sending my one man around to try and get a rear flank on this cavalry player, but it doesn't seem to be applying with one man. I can understand why. But we've gotten rid of the infantry player now, so all we've got to do is get rid of the cavalry, and we'll be capturing here. A nice charge in to finish him off, and now it's just a race to remove the red team from this capture point, capture it, and get back and heal. So we've been successful in nearly capturing the point, and we have quite a few players coming across to help out. We have retaken C, and we're about to take D, so that should start swinging some good points in our favour, and hopefully we'll balance things out a bit. So let's send my units back to heal, and then we'll make a decision on where we go next. Looking that there is quite a bit of presence on this side. I noticed that we had really nothing on the B side, so what we need to do is just get someone to sit on there, just to deny those points. And I noticed here that the archer player had respawned but didn't actually notice that there was already pressure on him. So what I'm going to do is I'm just healing up on D, and then I'm going to fall back straight away. As soon as I fall back, I'm going to unleash into the base to try and help out that archer player, because if the archer player is gone, then what they're going to be able to do is send one of those units into the base spawn and just start capping, and it's going to be very hard for us to fall back quickly. So I'm going to be the one to get back there and help out at this stage. So those dogs are doing a good job in there. They'll start to kill off the enemy horses, and then I'll be able to deal with the spear unit. And I have drawn his attention away from the archers now, so that's success there. It's a bit of a tricky spot to get in behind there, but what's happening is the ranged players kind of setting some volleys in to get a bit of payback here. Unfortunately, a lot of them are hitting me, but whatever clears him out at this stage. So once that's done, probably would have been a better call to actually go back and heal, but I really wanted just to get up into B as quickly as possible to scout out what was there and see if we can apply some pressure. The tier 10 archers up there will be a very big problem for me if they get visibility. They can probably kill me off in 1 or 2 volleys, depending on how many chevrons they've already got and their XP development. It looks like they're already 3 chevrons, so that would be a very painful engagement for me to deal with. I have recalled the dogs, which actually went a very long distance away, chasing that cavalry, and what I'm going to do here is just unleash them back into the archers over there and see what's in front of me. I've got all 3 units here, so my flanking ability will be quite strong if I can actually get around the side of him. If it's just 3 on 1 here, I'll be able to deal with him quite quickly. Unfortunately, my dog's latched on to the spears, and I'm just indicating for that archer to fire straight on, because if I can get him out of the way, then we can probably just march straight up onto B. So unfortunately I didn't actually know what else is up there, so I'm just going to wrap around him, get the flanks, get rid of him as quickly as possible, and then try and do exactly the same thing to the other 2 units that are up here. This is a really good example of flanking right here. I was able to rout him, and then I'm just going to pull my units back out, draw him in again, and you'd think he would probably have recognised what was about to happen, but no. He's just been drawn straight in here, and I'm about to get the flanks on him again on both units. And if you just look at how much health I actually lose in this engagement compared to the damage that was actually done, it's very minimal. So someone was indicating for the archer to come around the side there, but I was already in engagement, so it wasn't really my prerogative to really just move from where I was. I wasn't able to do much more, and you can see there I've managed to rout the second spear unit very easily. I turn unit number 1 around, get him, and then what I'm able to do is leave one of my units back there to keep attacking the spear whilst I'm sending my other unit around to try and rout the dog. And then I can turn number 1 around and just reroute the units that I'd already routed before, and then just select all of them and then just right click constantly, just to try and get all the flanks around the outside of that unit. Then pushing all my units up here into B, see if we can rush up there as quickly as possible to try and contest it and also capture it. Noticing there's only really the dog unit there now, and we do have 4, 7, 10, 13 units up here right now, so we should be taking this very quickly. I'm going to rush up here and kind of sacrifice myself. So I'm going to run up, hit them, slam them, which will slow them down significantly, whilst the rest of my team are capturing, and then just drag them all back, heal them up, and then I can bring them back up into here. We do have the tier 10 spears in there, which will be able to do a very good job on those tier 4 spears that are being brought there by Cat USSR. So just try and get my units back now. Unfortunately, the archer that is up there, Nikos, is volleying into me. which has killed off one of my units. So what I'm going to do now is to take stock of where we are on the map and decide what the next decision will be once I heal up. At this point we are looking pretty good. We're taking 4.5 points a second, whereas the enemy team are only taking 1. I'm just looking at the chevrons on the other team just to see how they are going compared to us, because it does look like some of our players have made very good progression with their units, and we just need to make good decisions from here as to where we hold, where we press, and what we do. I'm going to try and stick with this stand player as closely as possible. Unfortunately, they are moving a lot faster than I am, so it's going to be hard to defend them. If cavalry appear, I can unleash the dogs, but if he's in the open, they'll just charge into the dogs and kill me. So this is not a good area for me to be in, but at the same time, we do need to try and offer some protection to him. Our cavalry has gotten in behind Hadrian's wall there, and he is chasing down some of those archers. Unfortunately here, we really should have just moved our units into B. We're just going to give it back very cheaply here. Unfortunately, our spear player just got decimated by a volley there from the tier 10 archers. We just needed to get someone to walk into B to contest it there. The tier 4 archer needed just to send something in there, because we're just going to give it straight back again. And unfortunately, my dogs are just going to die off here. This is a very big mistake on our behalf as a team. Not leaving any heavy infantry back there or anything that can deal with the units that we're just about to rush back in. So that was a big mistake on our side, and now we're in a position where we've just lost what we captured. And up on the D capture point, we had units up there, but they haven't had a chance to heal up again. So I'm just got to send all of my dogs back here, the handlers, to try and defend these ranged player. But unfortunately, the tier 10 archers are going to get visibility and just wipe them out the instant they get out in the open. So I need to do my best here to try and get rid of the infantry, so then we can start dealing with the ranged player. Hopefully we've got a cavalry roaming around that can help out, but the instant Nikos gets visibility of me here, he's just out. See, wow, that was very painful. That was over half of my health in one hit, and that was nearly a full unit gone in that one volley from the tier 10 archer, which that hurts. And unfortunately in that engagement I fed him a lot of XP, so that was a bit of a mistake on my behalf, but I don't like to have units in there just sitting idle. So what that has also meant is now our spear player is able to heal up, come across back into B, and hopefully contest it again. It looks like we are losing D, which is a really bad position for us to be in now, because if you look at where A is, there's absolutely no one defending that, and between A and D, there's only a ranged player. So what I'm hoping here is I can indicate for us to wrap around these trees and attack B from 2 different locations, and then we can retake B. I'm very mindful here that now that D has fallen, or is about to fall, we do need to haul ass back over to A and defend that as hard as possible, because we can't afford to lose both B and A, because it'll pretty much be game over at that point. So re-healed my units up, and then we're going to press up towards B and decide what to do. At this point I looked over to A and I could see that it was not going to be too good for us. We do have a good push going on over here, and we've got our cavalry going through the tree line there, so he's going to be surprising all of those ranged units in a second. But we will need to move across to the other side of the map very soon, because we're about to be under pressure from that side of the map. And I'm going to make a decision here just to, as soon as we get B, I'm going to do a quick fallback and then rush across to A. So I'm unleashing in, I don't care too much about the dogs at this point, and then get onto B as quickly as possible. We've got a lot of units in there to capture it, and we need to flip this as quickly as possible, so I can get back over to the other side. And it looks like we're going to lose C too, so this isn't looking very good for us at this point. We are slightly ahead in points, and we're taking 0.2 points a second more than they are, but it's not enough. If you look at the flow of the game, you can you can see that they're just about to come back over the hill of E, and they're pressing up on A. They're doing a good press onto C, so I need to get back and rush across to A as quickly as possible to help out these glaives, because at this point we can't afford to lose A and B whilst C is being contested, so need to get over here quickly. And just looking at the number of red units around C, it isn't looking too positive for us there. We have dropped down in terms of the difference in the points, and they are actually catching our ranged units inside the base, which isn't too good. Unleashed everything into A just because I need to flush it out as quickly as possible, because it's getting so close to the end of the battle that any points now are golden. We need to get points, and we need to stop them from contesting our capture points as quickly as possible. So they're flipping C now, which will mean that they've got more points coming in than us, which is a very bad situation for us now. We really need to start getting anything we can, and I don't think having just A and B at this point will be enough. So once we clear out A, we need to rush up to D as quickly as possible and try and capture that, or if nothing else, deny the points that D would be giving. So I'm going to haul ass up here with Zavota and see if we can capture D, and that might just be enough if we're contesting that and we've got A and B uncontested to win the battle. But they've caught us up in points now, and it's getting very close. So let's see what happens at the end of this battle, because this is pretty exciting here. Ideally, we would get some presence onto C as quickly as possible. A cav charge into there would be good, but it is still locked, so we can't do anything about that, and there's not too much time left. We do have one spear player in there, but it's contested, so there's no point. Unfortunately, no one defended B at this point. We have a sword player just hanging out in the tree line there, and we've got 4 other swords that are in the trees. We needed everyone there just to slide across. I don't know why at this point they didn't. As you can see there in chat, I'm just like, get on to B. It's completely uncontested. There's no reason for him to be standing in the tree lines here, and us losing that point kind of cost us the battle here, because if that was at least contested, then they wouldn't have been able to flip it and get the points so quickly, whilst at the same time we're going to press up onto D and capture that quickly. He should have just sent that unit into B and contested it, instead of trying to go for the route there. That, at a very crucial moment, I'd probably say was the moment that this battle really turned against us. Enemy's got 3,400 points now, so it's pretty much game over from here, because we're not going to be able to catch that up. We will flip D, which starts to give us some points back in to make it a tiny bit closer at the end there, slow down the loss. But if we were on B and we had captured D at this point, then they wouldn't have had that period of time where the points were being leached from us, and we probably would have been able to get it a lot closer to 3,500, and unfortunately that is a defeat to our team. We fought very well. I'd probably say for a lot of the battle we actually played better. Our units did work our way around the map quite well, but unfortunately some decisions across the whole battle kind of cost it for us. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Give it a comment, give it a like, and I hope everyone has a good day. Have a good one. Bye.